Hello students, I'm Gonzalo from Wake 2D IB and CAIE Online Academy. Today we're going to see how to solve the free response section of the 2018 AP Calculus AB exam. This is divided in several videos, so make sure you watch all of them. In this particular video, I'm going to solve parts C and D of exercise 1, which is in the free response section with calculator of the AP Calculus AB 2018 exam. Part C of exercise 1, remember from the previous video, this was a problem where people were entering a line for an escalator at this rate, this function, from 0 to 300 seconds, and also they were leaving the line at 0.7 people per second. In part C they say for t bigger than 300. What does this mean? This means we don't need to use this equation anymore. So we don't need we don't really need what happens from 0 to 300. We need what happens after 300, which is this one. And as we can see, the rate is 0 because after 300 seconds people are not entering the line. So we just need to consider this rate, the leaving rate. Then what is the first time t that there are no people in line for the escalator? Remember from the previous video in part B, we got that we had 80 people. 80 people were on the line at time equals 300 seconds. So since we want to know at what time there will be no people and the only rate is the leaving rate, then it will be very simple. We just need to use a linear equation. Then it's like we can use the velocity, like the rate at which they are entering. So what we can do is we can say the rate at which they are living is the people, the number of people that lives, divided by the time that they take. And then the rate is 0.7 people per second, and we want to know how much time it takes for 80 people to live, divided by the time. So if you solve this equation, you just need to do 80 divided by 0.7, and what you will find is that the time is 114.286, but this is not the total time, this is the time after 300, which means for the total time we need to add 300, which means the total time is going to be 414.286 seconds. And this is the total time. After 414 seconds, there will be no people in line for the escalator. Finally, and this is the last section of this exercise, part D. For 0 to 300, at what time t is the number of people in line a minimum? And also to the nearest whole number, we need to find the number of people. So we need to find first the time at which is the minimum, and after that we need to find the number of people at that time. I'm going to use information that I presented in sections A and B for this exercise. So if you need to rewatch the video, okay, just have a look at it, because I'm going to use an information that was found in that video. We saw in that video that the total number of people in line at time t, it was 20 plus and then the integral, and we had to integrate the rate this was the rate at which people are entering, and we subtracted the rate at of which people were living. And actually, see, I made this mistake, the dx should be at the end, okay, minus 0.7, because we are integrating the subtraction. And in that exercise we have 0 to 300, but now we don't know when. We want to know when, but we don't know when, so we can use 0 to 300. It's just 0 to t, we don't know the time. And we need to apply a little bit of the theorems of calculus. If we have the total number of people and we want to know when is the minimum, we need to find when the rate is equal to 0. The first thing we need to do is we need to derivate this, and if integral of the rate, then if we want to derivate, then we just cancel the integral with the derivative. So basically the rate will be r of x minus 0.7. And actually the derivative of 20 is 0, so we don't take it into account, and we want this rate to be equal to 0. Again, you have to use the calculator because it will be much faster, and actually the AP people who correct the exams, they expect you to use the calculator. So if you introduce this formula, the 44 etc. formula in the calculator, minus 0.7, and you use the solver tool of the calculator, you will see that the times that you get are t1 equals 33.013 seconds, and the time 2 is 166.575 seconds. You will get these two. Once we have the times, we just need to find the number of people. So at time 1 at 33 seconds, if we substitute the 33 seconds in the formula, okay, we'll see that what we get is 3.803 people. And if we substitute the T2, we'll see that we get 158.070 people. We also need to consider the times 0 and 300. So at time 0, it's given at the beginning, we have 20 people, and at time 300 we have seen in previous sections of this exercise that we have 80 people. So if we compare the numbers, we'll see that the minimum, we have to find the minimum. The minimum is at time 1, so the minimum is when we are at 33 seconds, and the number of people is 3.8, so we can say 4 people. Thanks a lot for watching, and please watch the next videos where I will finish the remaining sections of this part of the exam. Also, don't forget to register for free demo on our website www.waketoryonlineacademy.com.